Alright guys, I'm back with an old pay-per-view review, and today I am reviewing WCW Bash at the Beach 1998 from San Diego, California, and this was requested by Ross Pelsington. Hopefully I said your name right, your last name. And this pay-per-view, I think the card was too stacked up. I think it was a decent pay-per-view. I liked watching it. I liked how they brought Karl Malone in for a bit of publicity for Hogan and DDP feud, which was really good. But the match was too long. I didn't like the tag match. It was too long, especially Hogan. I mean, Hogan, I know is a big draw, and he was a big draw in the 90s and 80s and whatever. But Hogan cannot do those 25-minute matches. He just cannot do those matches, in my opinion. DDP, same with DDP as well, like. But yeah, that's just my opinion. So the first match of the night was the Volons 2 and Volons 3 defeat Damon Salopa in the tag match. It was an alright match. And then we get to Raven versus Parasite. Now this was one of the matches I did like. This was probably one of the best matches of the night. I wanted to go back and forth here. It was a Raven Rules match, which is basically an Extreme Rules match. Raven wins, which was good. And then after that, it was a good match. And then the thing was, I want to talk about the WCW Raven. Because WCW Raven, I remember watching Raven when it was in the flock. Was it Raven's flock? I'm trying to think back. Was it called Raven's flock? I don't know what it was. But I like Raven's Flock in WCW. That was cool. I liked his. I've never been a big Raven fan, but I've liked his stuff he did in the Attitude Era with ECW and WCW. I never liked Raven in WWE and TNA. TNA Raven sucked. WWE Raven was worst because you had him basically in a feud with Jericho, which was good. I thought, oh man, well they're gonna have Raven start off red hot here. They're gonna maybe do something with Raven like they did with Rhino and whatever in the Dudleys. So he comes to WWE and then they put him in a feud with Jericho, which is good. Anybody who feels with Jericho is going to be good anyway. It's actually if your name's Fandango or Raven, which is not very good. Anyway, but they had that little feud in WCW and WWE, and then Jericho buries him, which is kind of weird. He calls him kind of like weird shit and whatever. I don't know. I cannot remember a few, but Raven's WWE run was terrible. It sucked. So yeah, we should go there and talk about that. And then we had Juventud Guerrero versus Kidman. It was a cruiserweight match, and Juventud Guerrero wins the match. It was a good match. Then we have Steve Guerrero versus Chavo Guerrero. Stevie Ray versus Chavo Guerrero, and this was a short match. Stevie Ray wins the match, and then we get onto the hair versus hair match, which is Eddie Guerrero defeats Chavo Guerrero. Well, Eddie Guerrero defeats Chavo Guerrero in a hair versus hair match. So also, Chavo gets his hair cut. It was a very good match, and man, this was the match of the night. A lot of flips. A lot of lucha stuff, and then Eddie hits a 5-star frog splash, gets the win, and then Chavo cuts his hair. Chavo gets his hair cut by Eddie. A very good match. I like the stipulation. I like the story behind it. A very good story and a very good way. I mean, I just wish that WCW would have pushed Eddie Guerrero and Chavo a bit better in WCW, but they never did. And then they came to WWE. Obviously, Eddie was the most successful. Guerrero, Chavo, he just became a jobber in WWE and TNA, so whatever. But Eddie became a Hall of Famer man in WWE, and I respect Eddie Guerrero. And if he was still around now, Eddie Guerrero, man, just think of the good matches he would have. Eddie Guerrero now, he would basically guys like Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens and whatever. Man. The possibilities would have been endless. He would have even had a match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania if he didn't pass. If things didn't happen, and stuff. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero is one of my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time, and You know, obviously when he passed away, like I was like, man, you know, I was like super shocked, like man, he's like, when he went at a young age as well, which was kind of sad. And obviously the wrestling business, we all know it's a hard business to get into. We know it's sacrifice. You got to pop pills and whatever, and obviously you're burnt out all the time. And obviously when you don't have the rest, like obviously Eddie Guerrero didn't have. Obviously, you die without having rest, and yeah. Um, but yeah, Eddie Guerrero is one of my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. I like grew up watching him. Like Eddie Guerrero, when I first started watching wrestling in 1999, like the first company I started watching, it wasn't WWE or WWF at the time. It was WCW. And I remember Rey Mysterio having a feud with Eddie Guerrero, and that's the fondest, that's the best, that's one of the great memories I have. I didn't know who it was at the time, but I just remember somebody in a mask, and I could think out it was Rey Mysterio, and then Eddie Guerrero with long hair, and I thought, man, these two guys work well together, and that's how I got hooked on wrestling. That's how I got introduced into pro wrestling through Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio having that feud in WCW for the cruiserweight title, whatever it was that year. And man, I haven't looked back ever since. And I know that I know that us wrestling fans have had some bad times since the Attitude Era, you know, with the whole PG stuff. But you know, Eddie Guerrero got me into wrestling, so I gotta respect that. I mean, I have a ton of respect. I mean, he got me into wrestling. I never knew about wrestling till Eddie Guerrero, and I saw him wrestling on TV and whatever, and that's how it happened, really. That's why I'm here today reviewing WCW Bash at Beach 1998, man. Then we got Canona and Lex Luger and Kevin Nash defeat Disco Inferno and defeat Disco Inferno. It was a squash match. The Giant defeats Kevin Grease. It was an alright match. Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho. This was another good match. No disqualification match for the WCW Cruiserweight title. It was about 6 minutes, but in my opinion, it could have lasted longer because these two guys, same with Chavo and Eddie. Chavo and Eddie, they had a great match for the hair versus hair match, but this match was really good as well for the Cruiserweight title. I'll go back and forth here. Rey Mysterio wins. I think with a splash or whatever. Or was it? Well, I can't remember. But it was a good match. A lot of good back and forth. Jericho does a line tamer, line salt, whatever, callback and stuff. And yeah, a lot of good back and forth here. Chris Jericho and Rey have a lot of good chemistry together, and they feuded as well in WWE a couple of years later, like in 2009, which was really good. I'm glad they continued that feud in 2009 as well. Very good WWE. And then we have Booker T, the champion. So it was Booker T defending his WCW TV title against Bret Hart. Booker T wins. Booker T defeats Bret Hart by DQ. It was a decent match. Booker T and Bret Hart. Obviously, Bret Hart is the more technical wrestler. Booker T is more of the high flying, high style kicking kind of, you know, strong style kind of guy. And then we got Goldberg versus Kurt Hennig. Now, this match wasn't even a match. It was just a squash match. It was just something to get Goldberg over. And credit to Kurt Hennig for making Goldberg look strong in this match. Goldberg hits the goal for the win and retains his world title. And then the main event. This was too long. This match was too long. It was Hogan and Dennis Rodman versus DDP and Karl Malone. Now, this was too long. We had a lot of spots in the match. DDP and Karl Malone do the Diamond Cutter on Hogan and Dennis Rodman. They put this on the Jay Lethal show. That's what it was all built up, really, from the Jay Lethal show, really. And I don't know. It was a way, basically, I think, for WCW to also get ratings and them to get casual fans in, and then because this was happening in the Attitude Era, this was in the Monday Night Wars. And this was happening when, you know, Hogan was red hot, whatever, and, you know, Undertaker and Kane and Mankind and all that. So WCW had to do a thing. They had to do something to obviously get the ratings, and they tried this, and obviously a Karl Malone feud and Hulk Hogan feud wasn't the best for ratings. That's just my opinion, but yeah. DDP and Karl Malone win the match. what can I say? It was a celebrity match, so I'm not gonna even complain about that. But yeah, that was the end of WCW Bash at the Beach 1998. Overall, the pay-per-view, it had a few good matches on the show, like Raven versus Perry Saturn, Chavo versus Eddie, probably match of the night, and Rey Mysterio versus Jericho, very good match. The rest of the show was kind of like squash matches, too long like the main event was too long, or more squash matches, and that was it basically. But yeah, that's my review of WCW Bash at the Beach 1998. Thanks to Karl, not Karl, what's his name? Ross Pellington for requesting this pay-per-view. If you guys have any more pay-per-view requests, leave them in the comment section below, guys, and I will review more of WCW, ECW, WWE, WWF, whatever, or even a TNA pay-per-view, an old TNA pay-per-view, if you want to see me review old TNA stuff. Right out.